You are listening to Lone Star Community Radio on 104.5 KCZW LP Conroe and 106.1 KZCC LP Conroe and worldwide on irlonestar.com.
Good afternoon, and glad you're with us today. We're here for the Agricultural Toolbox, part of the Texas AgriLife Extension educational programs. And today we've kind of hit on a variety of subjects here the last few weeks with everything going on, the frosts and flooding damage, and everybody trying to recover from that. So I thought we'd get back on a positive note, and we got a couple of folks with us today that are an important part of the community. I think a lot of people are aware of their operation out there now, but we've invited Bo and Carrie Poole to come in and visit with us today, and I think most people know them as P-6 Farms, but I thought we'd visit with them today and kind of find out a little bit what they've gone. Their organization has really changed since I met the family years ago. They used to have a kind of a different focus, and they've changed, and the family's evolved, and they're very much a family-oriented business. And I thought we'd visit a little bit today about what they've got going on and what they see for the future. But maybe a little bit also. I don't think people are aware of the impact that they make in the community. So, thought we'd go ahead and start off a little bit. Again, we made some cheat notes here or there as far as kind of visiting, and I wanted to remind people that they've not always been in the business they are right now. For years ago, as I met the family a long time ago, they were P-6 Land and Cattle Company, and a little bit different focus. And Bo, how did that come about, and your emphasis, and how things have changed?
Well, P-6 Dad started back in '73. It was basically just cattle and hay. We all grew up doing it. We had 3 different ranches at that time. When Dad purchased the one here in Montgomery, in time he sold the other ones, and that kind of become the base right there, and where we did everything. And that was the whole gist of it, was just cattle and hay, and that's what we did. After me and Carrie got married and raising kids, we kind of were looking at some other things to do around the place, and reading articles in different magazines, Progressive Farmer and The Cattleman. Things would happen. You'd see things, other farms doing different things, and I'd set them in front of Dad's chair, and he'd look at it and he'd go, I don't know what you're thinking. And it just kind of started evolving from there. We started adding some things and looking at other things. As time went on, he kept reading articles, then he'd start putting articles in front of my chair, because he would see things that people were doing and go, well, look, that's kind of different right there. Maybe we ought to try that. And that's kind of where it all started in our changing and diversifying. In the agricultural business, if you're not diversified, it's kind of hard to survive. So the more things we can try to diversify in from cattle and hay, I think it helps us in the end.
Yeah. And again, people don't realize that you've not removed yourself from that avenue. You still produce a lot of hay. You still got a lot of cattle on the place, and again, that's changed a little bit too. You've got a lot of heifers on the place right now that you're bringing up, replacing some older cattle that you had. So you're kind of constantly evolving that herd aspect too.
That's correct. We keep adding. We keep building on what we've had in the past. 2011 with the drought kind of set us back and a lot of people back, but we're building our numbers back up now. The vegetable side of it was kind of a funny thing when it came about. Dad read an article, and I don't remember what magazine, but there was a little boy in a town in Texas that had a small garden, and he went once a week to the same corner in town, and sold his produce. And he was always messing with me and Carrie's kids about doing things, and he brought this up to them, and anything for them that was work and they were going to put some dollars in their pockets, that's what they did. So our first big garden, after just a normal size that we grew up with, we planted our roping pen, and we thought it was kind of funny that we could turn the lights on in the middle of the night and pick the garden in the middle of the night. So, and that's where the produce came from. They would go once a day to Carrie's school. She was teaching school still then, and take produce to the school, put it in the teacher's workroom, sell it. They had a little brochure that they would do, and when they came, rode the bus back to her school. If there was any vegetables or produce left, they would walk up and down the halls of her school.
They didn't come see me,
No.
mind you. They went
They kinda
straight to, yes, to
They
see
went-
how much money they,
That's correct. See how
And
much money was in our box.
We got to look at potential clients. here.
correct.
And then from that, everybody just kept asking, why don't we do more? Why don't we do more? And so the vegetables just evolved from that, and kind of a learning curve for all of us in that side of it, because we had not done it ever to that extent. But
And with
very
your
fun.
dad's health, timing is always impeccable, and it was
Correct.
just the perfect timing to go ahead and implement all of their visions.
That's correct. That's correct. It got time that we could not leave the place as much anymore with Dad's health, and really had to ramp it up to do other things, and all this just kind of fit in place. And luckily he was here long enough to see a lot of this happen and witness it, and so it was pretty good.
And the neat thing is that the family was all in on this deal from the get-go. I mean, you know, the kiddos, like I said, they're the one leaped off and made things happen, and they're
Correct.
still, they're in the middle of making things happen every day, which
Absolutely.
most people don't realize that, that's still going on out there. There's families out there, they're actively involved in agriculture, and it takes the entire family to get it
does.
done. You can't always bring in outside help, and, there's just, if they're not, everyone's committed to it, it's hard to get it done. When you started on the produce first, kind of what were you thinking as far as what would sell first, or gauging, your clientele, what were they asking for, and when you decided what to start growing, and then kind of monitoring from there, where can we go potentially as far as different products, or when say the peppers are getting away from tomatoes, or whatever the case might be.
Right. I think originally just kind of looked at maybe some different kind of vegetables, maybe a different watermelon, something you're not going to find in the store, or a different cantaloupe that you might not find in the store, but still stay with the regular stuff that everybody grows: the tomatoes, the okra, the cucumbers, the squash, but varieties that were more of a backyard fresh variety than a store-bought variety that has a long shelf life. Our cantaloupes you're not going to find in the grocery store. They're not.
Yeah, they're supreme.
They are above and beyond the grocery store because they're not bought for shelf life like grocery stores are. When you pick it up and take it home, you better be cutting it up and eating it.
It's kind of like
it's ready to go.
the Black Diamond watermelon. Everyone associates it with Delorio's and Hempstead. So it was the same sort of deal for us, was find that unique, whether it was a fruit or a vegetable that says P-6 that you can't find anywhere else.
Right.
And
Sweet corn.
It's a quality product. That was the
Right.
thing about it. And they knew if it was associated with you guys.
Correct.
There was no question.
And they can see it growing. So there's no question, did we go to the market? Did we bring it in from someone else? It validates their purchase.
Correct. Blackberries. I mean, we have tons of blackberries, and my goal is to have the biggest blackberry that there is. And if you come pick blackberries out there, you will see they are very big.
Yes.
And she laughs at me because I'll sit out there sometimes and talk to them, but
Hey,
it's
if it
me
works.
and them.
If it works, let's do it.
So
An adult beverage might be involved in that
Oh, the
conversation,
talking part?
too.
Right.
Especially when the blackberries are answering back.
Correct.
this is true.
Again, you guys are always studying and looking at ways to improve your management systems there as far as irrigation. I mean, people walk out there and they say, well, where's the sprinklers, things like that. How are you getting this done? Talk a little bit about how you decided to go with your tape irrigation and the specialty irrigation that doesn't waste water and gets it where it needs to be.
Irrigation is a huge part when you're growing vegetables. To be able to control that and to be able to control your nutrients to that extent makes a ton of difference. And like I said, it's a learning curve always. It's vegetable growing is totally different because you really have to watch daily, and what you put in them daily or not put in them daily makes all the difference. So we went with drip. Everything's on drip irrigation. So I'm able to push nutrients once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, just depending on what it is I'm growing. And so I spoon feed it instead of just dumping a whole bunch of maybe granular fertilizer out there to last for the season for it. Give it a little bit the whole time through, and it's a totally different outcome that you get.
it makes a difference on your product.
Absolutely, it makes all the difference in it. The sweetness of the cantaloupe, or the blackberries, or the watermelon, or the taste of the tomatoes, it's totally different. And then the water consumption you don't lose anything. It's all in the dirt. It's all right there. We pump out of one pond, maybe about 1.5 miles, a 6-inch line up to another pond, and from there we pump out of that and pump it straight to all the vegetables, and it makes all the difference in the world. Exactly. A healthy plant is the benefits from having a healthy plant is by far better than anything else. It's kind of like taking vitamins yourself. When that plant's healthy and its cells are healthy, it might not get funguses or be able to fight something off that it would not do if it was maybe in stress and needing maybe a little bit of potassium or nitrogen or micronutrients, So you just watch them.
Gotcha. Well, let's again, everybody just kind of figures it's going to happen automatically when you put seed in the ground, we start irrigating, we fertilize, things are going to automatically go. It's a gamble. We saw that in 16, all the excessive rainfall amounts,
correct,
the cold weather, that impacted you guys tremendously.
Right now,
tremendous amount of water. Yeah, it's wet. You guys need to be in there doing things, but people forget that they just see it raining and they don't realize how that impacts agriculture. The cold spring, those tax day floods back, in 16, even the year before 15. I know you guys had quite a bit of damage to your field.
2 years in a row.
Yeah,
right.
2 years in a row because
especially
of that heavy
after the
rainfall.
drought, because everyone was rain, we need it. And then the total opposite end of the spectrum is, okay, we now have too much water.
And like I said, it impacted your fields, a lot of soil loss. It was pretty expensive then trying to rebuild those fields, get that soil back up there so you had the growing topsoil that you required.
Correct. Yeah. The difference, drought is bad. You need Mother Nature's water. Even I need it to fill my ponds back up to irrigate out with that. But then the total opposite is too much rain. It's bad. You bring funguses, you bring diseases, you drown plants, you rot seeds, you lose dirt. We're picking dirt up and moving dirt back in fields that we'd never done before that. We had hay, we had all kind of stuff put out there to try to do it, but when you would have that much rain day after day after day after day, it hurts. It hurts bad. So it goes two ways, and you can't always have the happy medium. There's no way.
Very seldom do we get it, right?
Like I said, you wake up every day and you wonder, all right, what's this day going to bring?
Exactly.
And I guess that's what I like about it so much. Everything changes day to day, and you really have to push yourself over and over and over to make it happen.
And
Some
then,
days you go to sleep, why am I doing this? And then you wake up the next morning, let's go do it again.
Yeah, let's get after it. And your sweet corn, that's a popular product too, or commodity that you got. And last year again with the cold and things like that, we lost quite a bit of that potential product there also.
We did.
So again, it's just one of these things you just never know, and you guys have to deal with a lot of adversity. And I don't think people appreciate when there's food on the shelf at the store, what it takes to get it there on a consistent basis. And you guys are dealing with that all the time because they're calling you and asking for they want pick something up, and if it's not ready or if it's not going to be ready for a few days, then they don't understand maybe how this whole thing works.
That's great.
All righty, let's go ahead and take a break here and move on, and then we'll come back in a few seconds, but get a sponsor or two.
Hey guys, this is Connor.
This is Dick.
This is Chris.
And we're with the Ticket Stub Podcast every Thursday live at noon on 104.5 and 106.1 FM in the Conroe area. Also, anytime at irlonestar.com. You go to irlonestar.com/TTS. You can find all of our social media.
And don't forget, we give away 2 tickets to the Grand Theater on every show.
If you like movies and you like complaining or celebrating anything that has to do with the silver screen, check out the Ticket Stub Podcast and join us every Thursday at noon o'clock on Lone Star Community Radio.
Remember to download the Lone Star Community Radio app from your Google Play Apple Store. Bring Montgomery County's community radio with you anywhere with your smartphone or tablet. If you are in the Conroe area, tune in on FM 104.5, 106.1. If you are on your computer, bookmark irlonestar.com as your internet radio station. Lone Star Community Radio, broadcasting 24/7 from the heart of downtown Conroe, Texas.
to have you with us today. The sun was actually trying to poke out. I'm looking at it right now. Yesterday was a treat, and then the weather's talking about a lot more clouds and no sunshine, so it's kind of getting a little bit gloomy on that standpoint. We want to welcome you today. We've got Bo and Carrie Poole with P-6 Farms with us today on the radio, and we're talking about their operation and how it's come about. And during this segment, we thought maybe visit a little bit about some of the, we've talked about, the vegetables and things that they're producing, and I've got a variety of other things that they're producing on the place and making available to their clients also. And again, they're excellent products, and people ask for them. So let's go ahead and maybe talk a little bit about the beef product, the fresh beef, or I guess it's frozen. We'll call it fresh then, but the beef that's that's produced there, and how you're marketing it, and the cuts that you've got, and its availability. I know it's not all year round because we don't have a feedlot out there where we're constantly going to K&C, but we've got a product out there that's super good quality.
Right. Yeah, it was another one of those things to try to diversify, a little bit more, and had talked about it and just kind of kept sliding it off the table. And finally one day I had some late calves and said, all right, this is what we're going to start them with, Dad. Let's give it a try. And basically we wanted to push it is that they were born there, raised there, and fed there. And it kind of took off. We push them very hard. They're not grass. They're grass fed and grain fed.
Pasture fed.
Pasture fed. They are the best of what I would like to say both worlds. There would be anywhere in a 50-acre pasture, and they have free choice feed that we grind ourselves. We grow our own corn for it. We make our own feed, so they can eat grass. They can eat corn, and it's turned out pretty good. Like Mike said, we only have it certain times of the year because here in South Texas, Southeast Texas, it's so hot in the summer you really can't feed anything out in the summer. So all my feeding goes through the winter, and then springtime and sometime during the summer we have it, but it goes very fast. Cuts of meat that we have, it's basically what you have at the grocery store, but ribeyes. Everybody wants ribeyes. Mm-hmm. But there's only so many ribeyes you get off of a steer. Right. So, I mean, you can't just have ribeyes. We sell a lot of hamburger meat. We sell a lot of T-bones. And it changes.
Fajita.
Fajita meat. It's
like the ribeye. You don't get a whole lot. That
you
goes
don't,
first.
You don't. It goes first. And it's always a juggling match to what do we cut this time? Because you can cut things different ways. You can have a T-bone, or you can have a sirloin and a filet on the other side, which is the without the bone in it. Right. So
we try to listen to customers, but we also try to get the most
out of
the
its
meat that
carcass as you can get. Yeah.
Correct.
You have to.
How did you decide then, say on your ribeyes or your T-bones, an inch thick, inch and a half? How do you decide on how you're going to cut these things up? Do you get a lot of feedback from folks on what they desire, or you just kind of just go with what you guys like and then market that way?
We pretty much just ask K&C what's typical. What do most people go with? And so they'll say, well, it's your typical family size. You might have 2 steaks in one package, or they might be an inch or an inch and a quarter. So we put the trust on their shoulders and let them guide us.
But it is personal preference too, and then you just build on that. Then you see what the customers are wanting out of that. If they bone in ribeye or bone out, and you kind of fluctuate it. It's a different side than going to the grocery store because there is so much waste in a steer that we have that maybe the big packing houses don't. Things that hit the floor for us go out the back door for trash, but for them, they're selling the bones to somebody. They're selling the hide to somebody. They're selling every bits and pieces of parts to somebody, which brings their cost per pound down.
Or the hamburger meat. They're combining beef from other cattle.
And we don't have that luxury.
Yeah, they sell everything but the moo. When you're talking about packing house, everything
right.
is used. So,
I don't have anything really to do with the bones. So people ask, well, what about using them for their dogs? Well, we've talked about it, and we did.
We tried soup bones the first year.
We did sell soup bones, thinking that would, but it didn't work. And I'd rather take that and put it back into hamburger meat because we can sell so much of that.
But the flip side is you can purchase a whole calf
Yep.
or a half, and you can have it butchered however you like. And we do that quite a bit, but we have to limit ourselves to make sure we have enough beef to sell to the general population, because not everyone wants to spend $2,000 at once on, stocking up their freezer.
But realizing that they're getting, a low prime, high choice type of calf. So,
Right.
What they're getting is far above the standard, what they're seeing at the normal market.
And the taste is totally different.
Oh,
I
Lord.
mean, and that's probably our biggest feedback from people when they do buy it, is the difference in the quality of the taste versus what they got at the store. And the same thing with our pork, because we raise our own pigs and do the same thing with them. Make our own feed and grind our own feed for them. It's the same thing.
Go ahead and step back in. How do we get started in the pig, the swine, or the pork selling portion of the operation? Again, it comes back to your diversification, and you guys are brainstorming, and the kids throw some ideas in there. And how did we come up with the pigs? Where did they come from? As far as use during the fall.
During the fall, we have pig races.
We'll get into the overall theme of what we do in the fall here in a minute, but people realize that these guys are doing a lot of different things.
Right. We have pig races, and I love my pig races. I have a lot of fun with my pig races and spend a lot of nights like talking to blackberries, figuring out different things I can do for pig races to make people laugh and make kids have a good time.
Yes.
So
like I said, we get done with the pig races there at the end of the season, in the fall season, so then we put them on feed. And
we put them on feed.
then we've got some pork chops and things like that ready
That's
to go
correct.
the same way.
That's correct.
And you were mentioning your grain. Where is that grain coming from? The base grain that you're utilizing.
The corn is coming from our corn maze. So we plant a big corn maze in the fall, 1 8-acre maze, and then another 2-acre maze. It's a haunted maze. And then after season is over, a lot of people think we just mow it down, but we go in there and pick everything there is. And we have 2 corn cribs, and that's what we grind our feed for the pigs and the steers for.
So you got a quality product coming out of there,
Right.
and it's again, that's the biggest part of the grain that's going to these animals is raised right there on the
That's
place
correct.
and not being brought in. So
correct.
we don't have to worry about mycotoxin or anything like that.
That's correct.
We don't have that problem on our place.
That's correct.
Before we get off on this too much, let's talk about some of the other specialty things you've got up there in the store to offer folks. And I'd mention the apple butter because a friend of mine really likes that product there. And how did you decide on the things that you've got up there that you try to offer? You guys have really gotten diversified on some of the things that are up on the shelf in the store there. And again, how do you come up with that? And like I said, the quality products you guys offer.
I think that we'll pass that one on to my bride. Between her and her right-hand person, Amy Smith, they're the ones that I try to stay out of the store. If you see me walk into the store, it's because I'm trying to get out the other side really fast and go before they go to barking orders at me to do something.
So we get our products from Rusk, Texas, not too far from here, and they provide just wonderful, just a variety of different things, unique things. Apple butter, it's just probably one of the most popular items, wouldn't you say? Everyone loves okra, so that was a no-brainer. They have a garlic pickled chip that is, you just don't find anywhere. So try to find that balance of just your normal everyday products versus something that you don't necessarily see everywhere, but you can get at P-6 Farms.
Again, that's the quality of the products that you guys offer. That's to me, you've really gone above and beyond to find something that everybody's going to be happy with, and that's to me that's always been the important part of what you guys have got going on out there. Let's go back to the corn maze then. I think most people probably associate your name with that corn maze and the activities and the family atmosphere that goes on. Let's go even to the theme. How do you pick a theme each year when you do, because I know that you do some publicity prior to the opening, and Astros one year and the military theme another year, and how do you guys decide what you're going to do and the pattern you're going to cut in the corn maze?
I pass that one on to them too. I stay out of it.
Almost like we're playing dominoes and you're passing on me. That's an interesting question because we try to put a whole lot of thought into coming up with the most ideal, fun, family-oriented design, and sometimes it can just rack our brains trying to come up with something. And in the past, we've asked our followers on Facebook to give us some ideas. So that was one year that we got some ideas and we narrowed it down. sometimes it just, you wake up with a thought, and it just is a nagging thought, and that's what we go with. But I guess probably now's no better than any than to go ahead and tell Mike that this year's theme is going to be Mr. Mike Heimer.
That's it. Picture
Yeah.
of it.
Do what?
8 acres. Mike
Do
Heimer.
what? Okay.
We usually try to start thinking about it, I'm going to say,
Right now.
during the season for sure, but now the hammer's being put down to try to secure a theme.
And we try to maybe keep it something local, something that everybody can associate, whether
Like the Astros, it was their 50th, so sometimes the themes just coincide great with, things that are going around our community, which we do. We like to incorporate community in our surrounding areas.
Montgomery, birthplace of the Texas flag, or just something in farming in general.
Garner State Park, their 75th anniversary.
That was 2 years ago.
Yeah, you guys like that area a little bit.
We do, a lot.
A whole lot.
A whole lot. Again, we've talked about the ideas of things you got going on, and I'm not sure how far we got to go to break. But anyway, let's go ahead and start off on this. Carrie, you being a teacher, and the educational standpoint that you guys emphasize all the way through on this thing, because I know you do a lot of school tours out there, but even just
do.
in the fall when they're out there doing things, you're trying to relay information to these folks. Akaleo's taking around the hay rides,
Yep.
and they're going out and seeing things. Talk a little bit about the educational emphasis that you guys put on everything that you do out there.
Well, it was an eye-opener for me when Bo said, we're going to do field trips, and I would like for you to do a little school lesson
In the corn.
in the corn. I'm from Austin, so I'm a city girl, right? Left Austin as soon as I could. But, so it was a learning curve. So I had to learn all the stuff about agriculture that I just took for granted, which a lot of people take for granted. The kids take for granted. You can only be responsible for what you know, and they don't realize how things grow. So we start with the ground up. We talk about, different types of soil, seeds, what a seed needs, seed coat, how you protect that seed until it's time to germinate, and photosynthesis and feeding, and the main source was corn, because that's the corn maze. So then we try to teach the kids that, there's over 3,000 items in the grocery store that are all made from corn, and not just edible items, paper plates, crayons, glue, makeup. So it's interesting to bring it all back full circle so they realize the importance of it, and it was important for the Indians, so there's a reason, that it's a staple in our diet for most of us. So that was the fun part. Spring, we talk about plant life cycle, because following with teaks, that's what goes along. So we actually go out in the field and we pick strawberries. So they learn about the different stages, the blooms, the flower, the bees, and I know that was kind of out of sequence, but you catch my
Right.
drift.
Yeah.
So they're talking about the produce, but they're also going out there and they're putting their hands on it, and they're getting dirty, and that's okay, because our philosophy is a little dirt don't hurt. And if you have a bug on it, you just blow that little sucker off, and everything's good to go.
Got it. And again, I think that's, you hear more people, they've been out there and they really learned a lot. It's, you're talking about entertainment, but they're picking up a lot along the way.
They are.
That's the neat thing about it. They're, maybe not like they're sitting in the classroom being lectured, but like I say, out there down on our knees watching a strawberry grow and
Absolutely.
where it comes from. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
It's
80% of learners are kinesthetic. So if you're actually, learning something, you're seeing it, you're hearing it, you're actually doing it, it's going to stick with them longer than, if it was a traditional type learning experience. And when they come back in the summer, where they bring their family, and Mama says, you would not believe little Johnny or little Susie put a seed in the ground, and guess what happened? So, it kind of
You're
instills.
making a difference.
Yeah,
You're making a
absolutely.
big difference. All right, let's go ahead and take a break right now, and we'll listen to a couple of our sponsors, and then we'll be back for another segment there.
A Lone Star Community Radio is looking for those who are interested in hosting their own talk show, with monthly and weekly slots available on Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1, and on irlonestar.com. Start your own podcast, create your first YouTube channel, and be on TV. Contact Lone Star Community Radio online at irlonestar.com or call the station message line at 936-647-3776 to take your first step into the radio world.
Hey, Montgomery County, it's me, C.C. Holmes. And I would personally like to take this time to invite you, that's right, you, to join me every Saturday and Sunday from 3 until 7 p.m. where I will bring you the very best of smooth jazz, classic jazz, and indeed, yes, the soulful sounds of the 60s, 70s, and 80s. So come along and get jazzy with me. That's right, jazzy. Right here, of course, on Conroe's 104.5 and 106.1 FM, or worldwide at irlongstar.com.
All righty, glad to have you with us today. Again, the Agricultural Toolbox, and this is some of the educational activities that Extension likes to relate to folks, is letting you know what's going on out there in the community. And we finished up last segment there with Bo and Carrie Poole talking about the corn maze, and again, that's a big part of their fall activities. And at the same time, if any family has been out there, you can see that they really work hard to have a variety of activities so that you know, when a family goes out there, a kid's not going to be standing around digging his toe in the ground trying to find something to do. That's not the situation at all. They're just,
You're going to be trying to catch your kid.
yes, exactly. I mean, they're going to be trying to figure out what to do first and what they can do most often. And again, you know, why don't you guys tell us a little bit about the things that you got going on? You change things up. You know, the Ferris wheel this last go around.
Never thought I'd own my own Ferris wheel.
That's what I mean. So it just, you know, things are constantly changing, whether like with the commodities there, but you know, you guys work hard at trying to have an educational and a fun experience for the family when they're out there.
We have a variety of things. We try to add something new every year. Kind of
Non-traditional.
Non-traditional, that's correct. Think back of the first years of what we had, and now look at it, and it just people that might have come early on and then come now and they go, wow. You know, but we try to keep adding in different things. You know, a lot of the stuff we make ourselves. We've added a few rides the past couple of years that we found in some place. Austin, we got 2 last year from Austin of Ferris wheels that they love. But it's a fun family thing. It's a fun family thing. And when we decided to do it, was the whole point of it, was somewhere you could go with your family and not have to worry about it. You know, there's no alcohol, there's no smoking. You're there truly to bring a family together.
Spend time with your family.
Spend time with your family. Chasing your kids. Your kids getting dirty. Bus drivers tell us that the kids are the dirtiest when they leave our place. So we know we did our job.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
They get off the bus hollering and screaming. They walk back to the bus with their head hanging low and or sleep before they leave the gate. So
our theme is to make memories that last a lifetime.
And you guys do accomplish that.
I think we do.
Yeah, very much so. Again, the variety of things. You know, the kiddos being able to test their marksmanship with getting the buffalo or the items out there. How do you decide on that? Because we changed up because we were doing water bottles before, and now we've got apples flying at us.
now we got apples. We originally had water bottles we shot in what we called our water cannons we'd made. We switched. A lot of people across the country, other farms that we know, they'll shoot pumpkins and stuff like that, but we don't have there's no pumpkins growing around here. This is kind of the wrong area. It's too moist here. We do grow a lot of pumpkins ourselves, but we just grow one variety and that's it, not for the cannons, so we shoot apples. And they have a ball.
I think the kids like the apples more than the water.
I think so too.
And I think the cows in the pasture just beyond the fence.
They like cleaning it up.
Appreciate
They're
that.
expecting them to those
right.
wild shots. Yeah,
Right.
They come through the fence.
they come
Yes.
sailing out there
Yes.
pretty
Yes.
good.
Yes.
Either that or hit the ground or rolling out there and says, "Okay, we got this one now." Then
Right.
too.
Right. So the corn maze, cow trains, tons of pumpkins to pick. Carrie and Amy were after me for years to plant pumpkins, and I just wasn't against it, but I knew it was going to maybe be tough to do in our area, and they kept pushing, and thank goodness I did, because I think some of the best enjoyment I get, and probably Carrie gets, is to watch kids have fun. The weekdays when we have all the schools out there, to watch all those kids running around laughing and having fun, it makes you feel good. They're having fun. They're outside. doing
Outside,
what
that's the
they're
biggest
not,
thing
they're
right now.
not inside.
And
They're
most of the
outside.
teachers are participating
Absolutely.
with them too.
Absolutely, and that helps too. Almost all of our activities, field trips, the teachers can participate into, and they love to have fun with their kids.
You don't see them
outside the
sitting
store.
on a table
Playing
on
with
their
the phone.
phone.
Yeah, playing
No.
with the phone.
They're with the kids, whether it's in a wheelbarrow and they're wheeling them down for a wheelbarrow race or jumping on the jumping pillow. They're actually participating with the kids. And I think it just makes a world of difference for the kids.
Definitely. And again, the variety of things, not the paint, it's not a paintball, but the
Friendly fire.
friendly fire range there, stuff like that. And it sounds like there's a lot of grandparents that really get off on that deal too, right?
They do. They do. It's basically paintball, but it shoots we shoot Nerf balls out of it. And to see when we first put it in, the first weekend we were open that year, I didn't know how it was going to do, and I was walking by and I saw a group of grandpas chasing their little kids, and they were all hollering and screaming. At that point, I knew it was a hit, because unlike paintball where you're running away from each other, this one you can run towards each other and it doesn't hurt. So it's fun.
Yeah, you're not bruising up anybody.
You're
like
not
that paintball
bruising
deal,
nobody.
you walk out of there with black and blue marks on you. So
If you're bruised, it's because you trip and fell trying to run away from your grandpa too fast.
And the cow train too, that's another, just your typical barrel train, but they're painted like cows and they're super cute. And sometimes in the fall, Farmer Bo will drive them through the corn maze.
Oh,
So the
okay.
kids love to drive through the corn maze.
Yeah.
and again, like the hayride that you guys do, and get groups everybody and then get back here and see just an overview of everything.
That's correct.
And you mentioned the strawberries earlier, and that's another commodity. Just so folks realize that you're not just busy in the fall. You guys are busy all year round, getting something going, preparing ground. So we're moving on to the next segment there.
That's correct. It's not just when the store's closed or we're all done with the fall, we're not done. I mean, at that point, we're tearing down and starting back over for the spring, planting strawberries, getting ground ready for vegetables. It's a never-ending cycle. Once strawberries are gone, we've got to get them out as fast as we can so that we can get pumpkins in. They got to go in at a certain time so they'll be ready in the fall. Once vegetables are done, we've got to start pulling them out as we go, because I've got to have corn planted for the fall at a certain time. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
How are the strawberries doing right now?
Ooh, we need sunshine.
Yeah.
We need a lot of
They're
sunshine.
cold.
They're very cold.
Yeah, they're waiting for a good bright sunset.
They
Yeah,
are.
need a few days to catch up.
Yeah, they're doing okay. They're surviving. Let's put it that way. But we're kind of far north for strawberries a little bit, but I push them, through drip, and as the sun starts peeking out this spring, they'll start waking up again, and life will resume, and I'll be able to sleep again at night.
But like the blackberries there, it's a good quality product, something's large and, as far as a good quality product, you go out there and pick what you need and you'll really enjoy going out there and doing
Correct.
that. One thing I alluded to early on and want to get back to as far as you guys' economic impact in the community. You guys hire, the family's there, but there's a lot of kiddos and other folks from the community that are out there helping you during the year. And, talk about that, because I know there's a lot of high school kids out there, you think it's work, but they're having a blast. They're looking forward to coming out there, whether it be planting strawberries or whatever they need to do. There's people out there helping you get the job done.
There's some good kids out there. I will say that. And me and Carrie really enjoy taking kids, high school kids. This is probably their first job. They don't know anything about showing up for work, and to teach them those things. You got to be on time to work. You don't just show up at any time you want. You're supposed to be there at 9 o'clock. You need to be there a little bit, maybe 15 minutes early, to get your stuff ready for that time, and then you go to work.
It's definitely a non-traditional employment.
It is.
And that's okay. But like Bo said, you're kind of giving them the basis for
Go ahead.
The future.
for the future.
He's
Yeah.
just waving at us. We can
Right. So you're teaching them to be responsible, respectful, and how to communicate not just with you, but with others. And that might be a family. It could be a dad. It could be a grandfather. Or it could be a child. So you have to figure out, what's the best way to respond and communicate with others, but also be tactful and responsible.
To have that many people, in front of you on a weekend in the fall for a kid, and I'll tell them, if you can learn that communication with these people and make them have fun, or something's not going right for them, fix it, it'll take you a long way in any job you do. You've got to have that communication skills.
And the benefit, too, of me being in education was a lot of these kids in the last, 7 years, I've taught, or I worked with their mom, and I know their family dynamics. I know their kids. So it does come full circle, because I think we have the best of both worlds, because we have such an amazing group of kids and adults.
And I think, the atmosphere that you got these guys hired into there, it's a family atmosphere.
Right.
It's not like there's, the boss there that's saying, you got to do this and hammering on folks. And, you're allowing them to grow and bloom and become people.
Absolutely.
And take that responsibility. You give them a job and say, here, go do it. If you got a question, holler back at me. But, let's make this happen, because,
Correct.
Planting in the spring, strawberries much different from
Oh, yeah.
operating the pillar ride
That's correct.
in the fall when they're getting covered up, and got to keep count on who's in there and how many come out, and keeping
Yeah.
kids safe
The
so they don't get
responsibility.
hurt on. So, yeah.
We have quite a few families that we have mom and all their kids that work for us year after year.
All right. Let's take a break right quick and let him throw a sponsor or two at us, and then we'll be back to finish up.
Listen in Mondays at noon to hear Conroe news from local nonprofits, businesses, upcoming events, Conroe Park events, news stories, and information that matters to you with your host, Margie Taylor of Taylorized PR. For more information about being a guest, visit irlonestar.com/Conroe Culture.
Our talk shows and music shows are looking for sponsors. Want to expand your brand awareness? Reach the hyper-local audience in Montgomery County? Lone Star Community Radio sponsorships accomplish this. Want to see our stats and rates? Check out irlonestar.com/sponsor for more information. Or call in and leave us a message at 936-647-3776 with your question. Get seen on TV or YouTube and heard on our podcast, FM, and internet radio. Sponsor your local radio station with Lone Star Community Radio.
All righty. Thank you for being with us today. And again, hopefully that you've been able to find out a little bit about what's going on at P-6 Farms. We were talking a little bit about the employment, and again, they're building people out there. They're employees, and I think the aspect there that their family itself. You got to go out there and meet Tanner and Jackson. All of a sudden, you'll find out exactly what this family is all about and how they interact with the kids that are out there. And that's you guys were talking a minute ago about the families are working out there, and they're bringing another dynamic to the employment place out there as far as helping you. And you see these different people that you're interacting and employing and working with. And how do they? How are you seeing them grow then, as far as young people, and some of these folks have been with you 2 or 3 years, and I imagine you've been able to see them grow and expand as young people, and how they come back and help you out even more so.
Well, from an employer standpoint, it makes it so much easier, because you're not having to reinvent the wheel. They know your expectations. They know what you're trying to provide, what your end goal is, and it just makes it a whole lot easier to know that you have folks that are working, for you.
Definitely. And again, you guys have, we've talked a little about the cattle and the pigs. You guys have got the sheep out there now also, which is something else that, folks have never heard of Katana sheep, and, realize that, this is another thing that they can see out there and learn, and, the diversity that you guys have got going on. Where are we going in the future? I mean, have you guys got the just
babies, and more babies.
I know we're talking about that for the spring. We're wanting to have something there. What's your plans there for these spring activities, and about the time when the blue bonds come out? I know you're wanting to have some activities out there at the place.
Yes, we want to have all kinds of babies. We want baby goats. We want baby rabbits, right, Farmer Bo?
Yeah.
Kids love babies, fur babies. And I think the parents would be appreciative in the fact that they won't try to take them home. They'll stay at the farm.
This spring we are doing something for the first time. You know, we open in the spring with berry picking and then go into vegetables and blackberry picking and all that. But we will be open 3 weekends this spring. The last 2 in April and the first 2
2 weekends in May.
No, first weekend in May.
First weekend in May.
First
correct.
weekend in May, and it's going to be called Blooms and Berries. We've just had a lot of people asking, why don't we do something in the spring? They're wanting something in the spring too, so we're going to try it, and everything will be open just like the fall. We'll have all the rides and all the activities and all that, but instead of the corn maze, we'll have strawberries. And we'll also have a bunch of baby animals, because springtime you think of baby animals. We're going to have a bunnyville with a ton of rabbits in it. So we're going to try to build on that. Last year, Carrie and Amy started farm camp, and that was a huge thing. And this will be our second year, and kind of looking forward to it. It's kind of one of those things to see all those kids come every day to farm camp for 4 days in a row and see what they do and what they learn. It's really fun. Yeah. Carrie could tell you more about that.
Again, this is more than an opportunity. Them just, they see an animal out there in the pasture, don't realize, what it looks like when it's, 4 days old or something like that.
Exactly.
And how it grows and the care that needs to go into nurturing this animal to get to a marketable stage or something that they can appreciate on down the road.
Or cleaning the horse stall. Everyone loves horses, and they all want to ride a horse, but not many want to clean
There's
the
a little
stall.
bit goes into that. And again, there's going to be some photo opportunities, I assume, out there too, the spring
Sure.
activity.
Absolutely.
A lot of families are out there stopping along the roadways and trying to take pictures of the kiddos in the blue bonnets, but you guys are going to have some opportunities for them to do those too, so they could kind of just come out strictly for that, if the case might be, or needing some, Easter pictures for the family and the kiddos dressed in the nice dresses or whatever the case might be.
Correct.
Do that also.
Correct. Absolutely.
Definitely.
Farmer Bo just might be in a bunny suit.
Ooh, that's okay.
Thought Mike was wearing that.
Okay,
I can
these
get
are things-
two.
these are things I hadn't heard anything about yet. Okay, I'm not quite sure about this deal.
I bet Vandy'd be on board with me.
Probably so.
We won't tell her about this deal. Okay. All righty, but again, they've got an excellent opportunity out there for everybody to come and learn about agriculture, and they work hard at making it a valuable experience when you come out to P-6. Again, you realize that this is a family-oriented operation. They do everything they can to make it an enjoyable, happy, and a safe experience when you're out there. And again, it's just tremendous, the things that they offer, the variety of things that are going on. And again, the fact that it is a family-based operation, that everybody's going to have a quality experience when they go out there. It's just amazing the variety of things that go on that you guys are able to keep a handle on and offer to folks. And again, how do they get a hold of you guys as far as whether it be bringing the family out there or the school tours? I know there might be some homeschool groups that would like to get a hold of you guys and say, how do we get an opportunity to come out, schedule a time to come out and take advantage of this?
Right. So we have on our website, which is p-6farms.com, and on our things to do, there's a link for field trips, and there's an online submission form, and I feel it's always changing because Farmer Bo's always coming up with something new to do. So the website is always evolving and should be up to date on all of our farm happenings. Facebook is so easy just because it's so instant. So between Facebook, between the website,
Sign up for the email blast.
Sign up for the email blasts. That's about it. Just come out to the farm.
And you guys hadn't said a word about the honeybees either along the roadway coming in there too. You're expanding that, aren't you?
We are
Trying.
adding, and that's another one they're a lot of work. I knew nothing about bees until I got bees, and you don't just set the boxes out there and leave them be. They require
Especially
work,
during a drought
especially during a drought.
or a flood.
When it's raining like it did those 2 springs, they can't get out and go pollinate any flowers. The nectar on the flowers is washed off, and so they don't have any honey. If they don't have honey, they don't have nothing to eat. So then you've got to feed them, and it gets tough. But we sell a lot of honey. All of our honey comes straight from our vegetables and all of our fields, and it's almost like ribeye steaks. As fast as they go out, honey goes out just as fast.
There you go.
When she puts it out there, she has honey, it's gone.
I guess we should have brought you some of this too, huh? We were talking earlier. Again, that just shows the diversity that's out there. But we're going to go ahead and let everybody know that, speaking about honey, I've got James and Sherry Elam will be here next Friday with us. They're heavily involved with the beekeeping industry, and we thought we'd just talk a little bit about what's going on in the bee industry, the challenges that are going on there. As far as the Montgomery County Beekeepers Association, they're actively involved with that. We've actually got some information now on the ag use evaluation regarding bees and the acreages, the number of boxes you need, and things like that. So we'll address that next week, but we want to thank Bo and Carrie Poole for being with us today and sharing some of the insight on P-6 farms, and we sure encourage everybody to go out there and enjoy their time and effort. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Mike.
Have a good day.
Thank you for checking out this production of Lone Star Community Radio. Lone Star Community Radio is Montgomery County's community radio station. Don't forget to check out this show and many others across the Lone Star Community Radio Network, either live on Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1, the Lone Star Internet Radio app, or irlonestar.com's live audio stream, and on replay on podcast, Channel 12's Our City TV in Conroe, or Channel 21 KVQT in Houston, and of course their YouTube channel. This production is copyrighted and all rights are reserved by Lone Star Community Radio. Have a question regarding this program or other Lone Star Community Radio shows? Want to sponsor or start your own show? Call the station message line at 936-647-3776 or email the station at lscrstudios@gmail.com.